This is Lizzie from Let Zoe Spoil You.
And Sagira from Sagira Salutes You. And together, we are Newbie versus Weeaboo. Sagira, Newbie.
Lizzie, a Weeaboo.
It's Newbie versus Weeaboo. Ahoy, hoy.
Heidi, hi.
Hi. So we've reached the end.
Dun, 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 dun.
We've reached the end, and for the first time, I think, since we started this, I'm going to pronounce it right, of Puella Magi Madoka Magica.
I know.
Not Madoka.
Even though we call her Madoka all the time, I hadn't realised that both of us have been calling it Madoka. I think it's because we're trying to get the pronunciation right, because it's such a long and wordy title. And half the words aren't Japanese, so even I'm going, Puella?
Yeah, and Madoka, it's like, I had that issue when we first started recording of the emphasis in the wrong places. So instead of Madoka, it's Madoka, and it's like no, that's wrong. But I continue to say it anyway. So if there is anyone saying you're saying it wrong, I am now correcting it and saying I have realised that.
Well, we've got all the characters' names right, so we're a bit squiffy with pronouncing the title.
Well, you say got them right, eventually got them right, with me saying sciatica and...
That's just dyslexia. And word associations.
What we did, because there are 3 films.
Yes.
But the first 2 films are a recap of the entire series.
Yes.
And you told me to watch them anyway.
Yes.
Which I did and I didn't.
You cheat! They're so pretty!
They are amazingly pretty. However, it is just watching the same thing all over again,
yes.
But it takes 4 hours. So
yes.
What I did was I kind of fast forward it, but on the screen so I could see what I was seeing and stopping it at certain points to either compare the differences or just because I wanted to see that scene done in a more, how I would describe it, as Ghibli way, because it screamed Ghibli at the start, especially when it was all bright and colourful but soft and just it does look amazing.
Yeah, yes, the popularity of the TV show gave them the budget to tell it with all the visuals that they wanted to use and to make it look so much more vivid. I mean, they were gorgeous. It was very hard watching the first 2 films literally after just watching the series because I was like, all the lines are identical. All the scenes are identical with the exception of the transformations, and one of Homura's conversations with Kyubey is in like a weird Neon Genesis Evangelion landscape of red and crosses and fallen monuments and ominous skies and weird bluey purple water, and I'm like, oh, it's gone extra Ava.
Exactly, and I think that was the issue. I think if we had watched the series, done something else, and then reviewed the film, it would have been different. But because, like you say, we watched it off of the back of the series, it's like, I've just seen all this, and now it's just a condensed version. But, I mean, I did make some notes on what I did see. Something that was very noticeable, because I'm getting budget, is depth. They really explored depth, and it was so well done. Like, even like the garden at the very beginning, just the different plants, like in front of each other, behind each other, and it was just like, this is some tomatoes. I'm really impressed. It
was the animation on the dewdrops on the tomatoes. I was like, whoo, that is a fresh in the morning tomato. I mean, the animation was superb. It was the labyrinths as well, that you could make out a lot more detail of the textures. So some was just paper, you could tell that the chalk was chalk, paper was paper, fabric was fabric, and it was more layered on. So there was elements of decoupage and collage and puppetry.
But they changed the intro as well, and I wanted to see how it was different. And this is something I would love to have, like, as a holographic poster type thing. It's Kyoko in the church. They just had her kind of stood there with the church. I thought that is beautiful, like the way that's been done. That was stunning. I'd love to have that on my wall. So I might have to look into somehow getting it turned into some sort of poster, because it's such a lovely image.
Yes, and with the opening, because of the popularity of the series and the ships and the potential, they made the Yuri element more obvious. I don't know if I've come across Yuri, but Yuri is the female equivalent of yaoi. So Yuri is female-female relationships. And the Madoka fandom is very much, they are all lesbians. And the movies made that a little bit more obvious. I mean, the third one was just like, oh my God, it's just lesbians and cake. I'm in absolute heaven at the moment. But yeah.
Well, I was going to say, like, if you haven't seen the series and you jump straight to the films, it shows you right from the intro that Madoka and Homura obviously have a close relationship because they're sat on a bench cuddling, and it's like, since you've seen the series, you know that Homura like has a lot of feelings for Madoka. However, if you're just watching it straight off, it's like, oh, these two are close, and it's kind of a giveaway if you're just watching the film, because it's like, oh, these two are close, so that must be something that's going to happen, because they're not that close in the start, because we don't know what's happening, we don't know who these people are, but they're cuddling, so clearly this is a relationship of some kind, a really close friendship, or a start of a romance. We don't know, but I feel like the film kind of ruined it in that way. But as you say, they made the film off of the series, so a lot of people who are watching the film probably seen the series.
Yeah, especially like in Japan and stuff. If you're like a hardcore fan of a series, you're going to watch a movie. Most people will have seen both, because that's just the way otaku brain works.
It also reminded me, the music and the styling and stuff, a little bit of the Professor Layton games. That kind of, because that deals a lot with steampunk and time travel and stuff, so it's got a lot of the kind of clock motifs and that kind of plinky plonky music. And I was like, oh, I want to play Professor Layton now.
Yes.
It was really giving me flashbacks to that.
See, what I want to do is I desperately want to show you Revolutionary Girl Utena, but I'm like, no, we cannot. We'll save that for another time, because it's too similar. I'm trying to think of a series for you to watch that's different from what, because I hadn't realised just how Ava Madoka was and how Utena Madoka is, and I'm like, right, I've got to stop showing you shows that Madoka was inspired by, clearly.
The other things, I'm just gonna do this and then we'll move on to the other film, because we didn't want to spend too long on these two films, but there's still lots to talk about. I rewatched the worst scene ever of Holy Kyubey, just to see the difference, because I'm morbidly curious to see if it was
high def holes
any more horrific. It wasn't more horrific, it was equally as horrific, and I still didn't like it. So I swear, I really feel like they like extra nommed it, like nom 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 nom. I swear it's louder. I swear they made it louder in the film.
Oh, yum. Yeah.
Also, halfway through the second film, they just plop in the credit sequence.
Yeah. They just wanted to remind you, remember this? It was beautiful. But they changed the beginning of it, so I'm like, oh, it's different. And then the rest of it was the same.
Yeah. It was slightly different. Like, it wasn't so intro. It was more like a montage just in the middle of a film, but the happy times that they could remember, because I can't remember exactly what scene it came after, but yeah, it was just randomly plonked in the film. And also at the very end, it was a different post-credit scene. It wasn't Humura with the wraiths. It was just kind of like, we won't forget, things are different sort of thing. Yeah. I can't
I mean, they still had Homura the wraiths, and then they went to another scene of like them talking about what the nature of them are, and then my copy had a teaser for 3.
Yeah, for the last film.
And I was like, ooh, intrigue.
We're a little bit behind, but now we can jump on. Now we've got that out of the way, because we had to talk about it in some sort of length, but now we're on to Puella Magi Madoka Magica Rebellion.
Woo! God, that was a divine piece of film. I need to watch it again and again. It was, oh my God, my breath stolen by this. It's been a while since I've seen anything so just beautiful, and there was not a detail out of place or a foot wrong, and gorgeous.
Another thing that I found that was different from the films to the TV series, and it showed it in the beginning sequence of this film, was the use of light. Like, the neon lights looked neon, everything was so bright, and you could tell what was light and what was reflecting light, and the use of shade and stuff was brilliant. It almost, do they use CGI in these films? Because it looks amazing.
There's CGI, I can't remember what the technique is. And they do it, you can see it with things like Fate and Unlimited Blade Works, is what they do is some of like equipment and backgrounds with the cell shading. They also use CGI to enhance it, but then they also animate around it, and then they CGI around the animation and animate around that, and they layer it and layer it and layer it. So, and you cannot see the blend anymore between, because it's so fast, you cannot see where it's CGI and where it's animation. But the way it all fluidly moves together, it's so much extra detail, because what you're essentially making two versions of, say, a CGI version and an animated version, and they blend it and then they move it, and it's just like, it's phenomenal the way they do it, because it
But then, are they just amazing artists? Like, you know,
Yeah.
they are out there. They can do this sort of stuff just by hand.
Oh yeah,
So-
no, it's both. It's amazing artists that hand draw and hand animate and then animate it all, and then it gets given to like the digital artists that do a digital composition, and then the CG artists, and then it's all combined in these glorious textures.
Well, I'm not going to go scene by scene in this film because otherwise it will take
We
forever.
would be here forever.
So I'm just going to do main points of what I noticed from the film. Rather, if you want to see the film, go watch it because it's amazing.
Oh, it's amazing.
But we're just going to touch on the bits that we enjoyed. So it was very confusing from the start.
At the beginning, I was a bit like,
So-
is this an alternate universe? Because what? Wait a minute. This can't have happened after the original. I don't know where we are, so I just kind of like was enjoying the journey for a bit.
Well, you're trying to work it out because, first of all, there was like a witch, familiar, whimsical, cutesy thing that, you know, and it's like, well, if that's around, then Madoka hasn't become this god thing yet, so it must be before that. My next note is more boobalicious because Mammy is got memories. Holy crap!
She always had. If you look at
I know, but
yeah, they
there's a shot
play
where
it
it's
up.
just like kadonk in front of the camera,
Yeah.
like hello.
They push up some of the little fan servicey bits a little bit more.
It then goes because they do this kind of like semi-fight, not really a fight, and then Madoka wakes up and it starts like the other film did.
Yes.
Except Kyubey is there.
Yeah.
And it's the same routine of things. So it's like, so she's become a magical girl. So this must be a different timeline to the one to the series. But when in the series is it?
Yeah.
And oh my god, Kyubey is so cute.
I know. I was like,
can't get over.
I'm trying not to be pulled in, Kyubey, because you're now acting like a cat, like proper. Yeah, you. And also expressions, facial expressions, and the tapping on their head with the little paw, and
Oh,
I'm
that
like,
was so cute. When he's just like, they're there.
it's like your friends are mental, and he's just like, oh, you poor thing, surviving this, and I'm like, oh god.
Kyubey in the sink. Oh my gosh! Like
Yeah.
I was like, I want to cuddle you.
Yeah.
So adorable. And also they were talking. But that was another thing. Hitomi
Yeah.
was dating Kyosuke at
Yep.
this point, and it's like, okay, so it's after Sayaka has made her wish, so they must have done it earlier than what it is in the series. And yeah, it was a real mind f. It was just so. Okay, right. You kind of didn't want to judge anything because it's the very start, but at the same time, you're trying to work it out.
Oh,
Where
I
in
was-
the timeline is this?
I was going, what are they chasing? It's a witch. No, they've invited it round for dinner. They're feeding it potatoes and chicken. No, Kyubey's a cute cat thing. They've gone to school. Okay, I'm going of alternate dimension. They just want to retell it in an alternate dimension.
At first, Kyubey was going mew, mew, like this, like proper cute. But then it started going chew. And I was like, is this the same voice as Pikachu? Because it really sounded like chew, chew, chew. It's a weird alternative Pokemon in this world that's a cross between Mew and Pikachu.
Damn cute.
But then, just to make things even more confusing, Kyoko is at school.
Yep.
What the heck? And then it's Homura's first day. And it's like, my mind is melting.
Yep.
What is happening? So Madoka is a magical girl. Sayaka has already made a wish, and Hitomi and Kyosuke are already together. Kyoko is going to school, which did not happen in the series. And Homura has just started her first day, which means that she's gone back in time or something. Because I was like, okay, it's the first time, but then she was already a magical girl. Therefore, it must have been the second time she'd gone back. I mean, it feels like because some of the scenes are so exactly the same. I feel like they just took scenes from the first film and plonked it into this film, going, that'll save a bit of money because they are just the same thing. But it's all exactly the same, except, and I put in big capital letters, Kyubey is there. I couldn't get over it. Kyubey is there. It's like Homura has just started school and Kyubey is already there. I don't understand.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. And then we had a new intro.
Yes. That was so interesting.
This time with a little bit of K-pop dancing.
Yeah.
A little bit of routine dancing going on, which was quite fun. But yeah, this is like what, the fourth introduction they've made to this film?
But it's the first hint that something's not right.
Yes it is.
That was very clever.
Well, we knew that it wasn't right as soon as Kyubey was there, Kyoko was there, and then it was Hummer's first day.
Well,
all that together was like, this isn't the same. This is
no,
all
but there
different.
There's like alternate timelines and alternate realities, and then there's something bad about this timeline. The first hint, there's something evil in there.
I think for me, like even the Kyubey stuff didn't throw me as much as Kyoko being there. I think because in some sort of timeline and stuff, there's always been an element of Madoka being a magical girl earlier on, or Kyubey being known earlier on, all that kind of stuff. But what hasn't been there at all is Kyoko. She has never been a part of that school.
Yeah.
She has never been there in that morning routine. So she was the first thing that made me go,
Yeah, I mean, the thing that made me go, something's not right, is literally the opening, and they're all dancing, and then you see dark, depressed Homura sitting on the floor, and they're all like, happy magical girl routine, and I'm like, oh no, Homura's not having a good time. Something has gone wrong for her. What's happened to Homura this time?
I just thought that's part of her personality, isn't it? She's always the depressed one.
No, that was my first time when I was going, something's happened to her. What has happened to her?
I found that the teacher was more unhinged in this world.
Oh, yeah.
Really unhinged.
Like, the apocalypse is coming and she's bending backwards and smiling like a crazy person.
Yeah, kind of Exorcist territory. Like, really not having a great time. But Mami says she already knew that Homura was a magical girl, which means that Homura was there before she'd gone back in time because she was there the night before. So again, it's like, hang on a minute. That doesn't work out. She wouldn't have been there. She can't go back further than the day she started. So how can she be there watching them fight a witch with Mami if she hadn't arrived there yet? And she wouldn't have remembered that. Time wouldn't have changed from that point. So
this film does have quite a few like red herrings, keeps you guessing.
Mm-hmm.
It's so clever.
The scene with Hitomi falling into the witch's labyrinth, it's so dark so early on. You know, it's like, we're going to make sure that you know that this film is not right from the get-go, and we're going to throw in Hitomi basically falling into a depression because of a boy, and it all goes wrong for her, and it's like, whoa.
Yeah, it all goes absolutely bat. That whole sequence is bat. You're just like, I don't know where to look. It's gorgeous and beautiful and colourful and animated in styles, and now she's a blobby head, and then they're fighting this, and then there's stuff exploding over here, and magical girl transformations. Oh, they are good. And also telling.
They were surreal and beautiful, and the use of silhouettes was just... I mean, we know my favourite scene is the silhouette scene, so anything like that makes me just go, oh, I love it. Oh. And... like, I love that use of, I've seen it in a few things, but I love that use of where you have the outline of the girl, but inside it's all like university and spacey and starry. I love that. Very
Sailor Moon. Even the Sailor Moon pose. I mean, you can't help compare it to Sailor Moon. But what was really interesting about the transformations is they were all gorgeous, but becoming a magical girl was all about discarding your body and breaking free. And they had that metaphor. And then each transformation had literally a split-second shot of something dark or evil. So there was like a split-second shot of deformed eyeball, a split-second shot of like something really creepy happening, and it's like, there is something evil hiding in all these girls. And it's just like, oh, this is not right.
Also, did you find that all the girls had these really amazing transformations then, and Homura's wasn't as impressive as everyone else's? Yeah. Like, she was just kind of like...
yeah, exactly. And it's like...
Homura!
There was... I mean, from the opening, I knew this film was centering around something happened to Homura that we will find out. So I was like, something is wrong. But yeah.
There was the witch from... the series that ate Mami is now Mami's pet, and it's got a name, Bebe.
Bebe.
And Bebe. And
Bebe.
Yeah, and it's obsessed with cheese.
Yes.
It's just basically a book.
Yeah, I mean, I understand completely. My best bit, it keeps going on about cheese, and in one of the lines, it's not my best bit because of the baby, it's the best bit because of the husband being a bit of a numpty. He's been naming cheeses, and then Bebe goes, I want mascarpone, and husband goes, well, that's not even a cheese. And I'm like, yes it is, it's the cheese they used to make cheesecake, hence why Bebe is eating cheesecake. And he's like, oh, whoops. And I'm like, that's the bit you don't get.
What did he think it was?
I don't know. But he was like, mascarpone is not a cheese. It's like mascarpone cheese. Also the thing they make cheesecake with. I desperately wanted cheesecake. Oh, I wanted cake so much.
Also, another thing that made it not right is Mami's new skill of hairography.
Oh yeah, I could use magic powers to style my hair.
style my hair, but also use it as a whip, use it as a rope. It's just her hair just seems to be a weapon now, and it's like that wasn't in the film.
Yeah, it was ribbons and guns.
Ribbons and guns, but not hair.
Yeah, I did like the combi power. I wish there was a bit more combi powers, because the Mami and Madoka doing the combo move. Yeah. I was like, oh god, that is a divine vision. And then
sorry. So then comes they beat the,
yes.
It's now called nightmares. They're not wraiths, they're not witches, they are nightmares. Now. And
yeah, the bit that I was like,
now comes the cake song.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know how to feel about this cake song.
I think it acted to totally off-kilter you. It was so surreal, but also so endearing, but also the way that they were so indoctrinated into this world with this song. Just, this film was so clever at giving you something kind of cute and magical girly and making it seem really like sinister and off-kilter and not right. Because this cake song, they were like, and I'm going to be the strawberry. I'm not the strawberry, you're the cake. I'm not the cake, I'm the melon. At first you're like, la 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 la. This is getting weird. Why is Bebe there? Why are they singing a cake? Why is the thing in the jar?
Eating the cake?
And then you can just see like Homura's uncomfortability, and I'm like, okay, Homura is not comfortable as everyone else. And then obviously Bebe turns into the thing that kills Mami, and then gets stomped on and froze up the cake, and it's just like, this is getting weird.
Well, with Homura and not feeling comfortable, I mean, you can kind of understand it because from this is kind of her first fight in this situation with them, so she doesn't really know the routine at this point. And yes, now later on we know that Homura remembers everything, and this actually isn't the way things should be. But at this point, as you said, it could be an alternative universe, and this could be the way that they defeat nightmares. And Homura's just learning the cake song.
Yeah,
because she's a pumpkin apparently.
And I'm like, who puts pumpkin in a cake?
I'm sorry, but who puts? They said put cheese in it, and it's like, okay, yeah, cheese mascarpone, as you say, cheesecake, but this was a hunk of cheddar cheese, and it's like, no, do not put your cheddar cheese in my delicious cake.
Yep.
Okay.
I mean, it still turned into a gorgeous looking cake, as I'd eat that.
It was a huge cake. But then after they defeated the nightmare, all of their gems were purified at the same time. And it's like, well, that's a better way of doing it.
Yeah.
Instead of fighting for a freaking seed, you could all get purified. Yay.
Yeah.
Everything's great.
I was like, everything's too perfect.
Yeah.
I'm having my doubts now.
Visually, the scene that I loved was when they were walking home and everything was filmed from the reflection. I thought that was such a good use of different perception, and also it's kind of like that looking glass kind of thing. Like you're through the looking glass, you're not looking at the thing that's actually real. You're looking at an alternative version of it, and it's like symbolism. I mean, it may not be. That might be me looking too much into it, but I really enjoyed that. I thought it was just a nice difference. Okay, so we then go to the. Like I said, I'm jumping around here, but. We go to the classroom and Homura is sat there and she's looking round, and the only people whose faces are normal are the people that she knows. Everyone else has these weird pixelated faces, and what that made me think of was you and your face blindness.
Oh yeah, it's like that's how I must see people.
Yeah, that must be how Lizzie sees the world, because she can't tell the difference between anyone.
No, unless they've got really recognisable hairstyles, you know.
Grow a beard, screwed.
I didn't like that, because I was just sitting there going, why are people's faces melting? Why are people's faces melting? There's something weird.
We're now getting a real look into this is not right. It was either Homura is becoming unhinged, or there actually is something wrong with this world. Yeah. It's not right. So we are now starting to feel the wrongness. There's lots of use in this film of music being played and then like a scene going on, but we can't hear it. So like the bit where they're having lunch, they're all like laughing and playing and stuff, but we can't hear what they're doing or saying. But there's like lovely music over the top, and they use that a lot in this film, I found. And I like the use of that because you don't need to hear every little thing. No. You know, and it gives you time to think about what you're seeing rather than what you're hearing.
Yeah. It's a nice
you
technique.
need to do in this film.
Yes, you need to digest I like things that give you time to digest what's going on. I mean, obviously we don't need like 5 minutes in a lift, but sometimes you need.
I did. I needed 5 minutes in a lift to catch up with the writing. Flipping Evangelion.
Oh, I love it.
And I was so relieved when Homura finally acknowledged that Kyoko shouldn't be there. I was like, thank you, Homura.
Yeah.
At least we're not going mad. At least we know this isn't right. And poor Kyoko, not a clue what's going on. Finally, we're getting that insight into, okay, we are not in the right place here. That was very reassuring as a viewer. Yeah, this is now where the world is starting to deteriorate and become weird and surreal. The whole time that she's talking to Kyoko in the weird gazebo glass thing. I wouldn't mind having tea there. It looks lovely.
I know. I want. Yeah.
But not with the weird blimps in the background.
You're like,
and the weird people walking around.
It was the It balloon. The minute I saw the red balloon floating past, I'm like, well, this world is evil because Pennywise is somewhere. And then you got the weird puppet children and the thing that looks like it's a witch's labyrinth creation. And I'm like, are we in a labyrinth? Because this is getting weird. I'm beginning to think we're in a witch's labyrinth.
Yeah, and then there's the whole scene of them trying to escape the city, but they can't get out, and the weird faceless bus driver. That scene. I mean, that was more CGI than anything else. That bit
Still looked
gorgeous.
gorgeous.
Yeah, I'm not knocking that they use CGI.
No.
I think it really helped it, and it gave it another level of visual amazingness. Basically, it was just so well done. But after that whole thing, we then get the bombshell dropped of this is a witch's labyrinth trap, and there aren't meant to be witches anymore because Madoka's sorted that out. So what's going on? And then we get another bombshell. Madoka has already sacrificed herself, so it means that witches are still around. Madoka has sacrificed herself, so technically witches should not be around. Yep. So what the frick is going on? And something else that I noticed, and it bugged me the first time I saw it, and then it kept happening, was they keep doing a shot of Kyubey's eyes.
Yes.
They kept showing Kyubey, and it's like, you have something to do with this.
Yeah.
You cute little psychopath.
Yeah, they kept showing Kyubey's little face, and I'm like, oh, Kyubey's playing. Mm-hmm. And if Homura's the only one who knows what's going on, I was like, fuck, Homura's turned into a witch.
Well, this is it. It is at this point that I started to think, this was Homura's doing.
Yeah.
This is her own witch. And also I was thinking back to what you were saying when you predicted that the witch at the end of the series was Homura. So at this point I was like, maybe this is what's going on inside that witch while we're looking at the outside.
Obviously it disproved my theory, but it didn't disprove the theory that I was convinced Homura would turn into a witch.
Yeah, exactly. But at this point, we don't know. We have no clue what's going on. All we know is that this is a labyrinth and this is all happening after the series has finished. Yeah. So this is a continuation rather than a prequel.
And I was like, well, thank God it makes sense now.
Well, it's answered some questions, but brought up a whole lot of new questions. So it's like, right, okay, I can't even remember if this is even halfway through the film yet. So much has happened.
No, because it has another area of bombshells for another massive,
But Homura says that they are in a world of false memories, so that then explains Mami's pet witch, the cake song, Kyubey being cute and non-talking, going choo choo, Kyoko being there from the start, fighting nightmares and not witches or wraiths, everyone being purified at the same time. All these things where you're like, that's not right, that's not right, that's not right, is because it isn't right.
Yes, it's all too perfect and too easy and too nice, but with some weird sinister tones.
And Homura thinks that it's Bibi who's doing this because she's the only one who is a witch. So she's like, right, well, it must be you who's controlling this labyrinth. And then it gives you the red herring of that Mami's the witch, because when Homura freezes time, Mami isn't frozen. Yeah. So it's like, okay, so maybe Mami's the witch then, and she's using Bibi, or Bibi is her witch, or something. We don't know. And then we have this brilliant epic fight.
So good! Jesus Christ, was it good?
Guns are plenty. Holy crap. Just bang, bang, bang. The bullets and the time freezing
and the way they slide past each other and bump each other, and the way they move, and and the animation, and it was phenomenal. That's one of the best fight scenes. I mean, that's the very definition of like gun porn, and I'm not normally into gun porn because I don't like guns as a weapon. I'm more of like, swords.
Melee.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a melee girl. In my video games I'm melee, in my movies I'm melee. There are very few things that I'm like that makes shooting look sexy, apart from like The Matrix and one scene from a TV show called Leverage.
What about Bayonetta?
Yeah, okay. We'll do Bayonetta. I've not really played much Bayonetta. I've only seen bits of it. But yeah. So, but this, I was like, oh, who thought that a magical girl show would show me the best interplay of using guns as a weapon?
And then, so we had this amazing scene and everything, and then Homura tries to shoot herself, and it's like, what?
No, she tries to shoot herself, knowing that Mami will stop her, which will give her an opening to shoot Mami.
Right, okay. Because that just confused. I was like, oh, she's just given up.
No, she knew Mami, because if Mami's been rewritten with the false memories, and if at this time I was suspecting that it was Homura who was turning into the witch, so it was she doing it, she hasn't worked it out. She was either like, if she shoots herself, this will all be over as well. But she also knows that Mami will try and save her, which is what Mami does. So she freezes her at that moment. She goes to take her out thinking she's a witch, and then goes, I can't do that, and shoots her in the leg.
And also at this point, Bibi turns into a very cute little girl.
Yes.
She's adorable.
Yes. We see what Bebe looked like when she was a magical girl before she got turned into a witch.
Well, that's why she's a cute little doll thing, because she's a very cute little girl. But then after that, we have Sayaka, who talks to Homura about who the witch could be. And then again, we are led to believe that she is now the witch, because Homura is saying, well, there's only a couple of people who this could be. It could be Mami, it could be Bibi, or it could be you. Yeah. And then she turns into the witch, and she becomes not evil, but she does her thing. And it's like, right, so first we're led to believe it's Bibi, then we're led to believe it's Mami, then we're led to believe it's Sayaka, but yet in the back of your mind you're like, it's Homura. Yeah. Like, it has to be Homura.
Yeah, Homura was the only logical choice for me.
But they were saying like, I think at this point Sayaka was saying like, this world is being perfect and it's all the things that make you happy. And it's like, well, the main scene that jumps out for me at this point is when Homura and Madoka are in the flowers talking. And it's like, that is Homura's perfect situation. So she's the only one who would create that. The only other person who create that is Madoka, and we know it's not Madoka, so it must be Homura creating this world where she and Madoka can be together again.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's in your head you're screaming Homura, but the TV's trying to tell you something different. The conversation between Madoka and Homura, Madoka is saying like, I would never give up my family and friends, even if I had to, something along those lines. I feel like that's not Madoka, because Homura is saying, this is your true self talking, this is how you really feel, and I believe in it. It's like, I don't feel like it is. I feel like this is what you want her to say to make you feel better, because, or maybe feel worse, because she says like, I put you in that situation where you had to become this being, and she feels bad about it. But it's like, but Madoka always wanted to be that person. She always wanted to be the person who helps everyone and saves everyone. So she did always want to do that. Yeah,
it's the Madoka words that Homura's perfect Madoka would have said, and it's also some of the justification of what Homura eventually does in like the final twist. But we'll get to that.
Next is where Homura she realizes she's the witch, and the flaming bus scene where she leaves her gem, she gets on the bus and it just catches fire and there's flames around her, and it's horrible. It's a devastating scene of this poor girl having to try and kill herself to make it all stop. And when she gets on the bus, there's clocks everywhere. I kind of get that as a symbol. But what is the owls about?
There's an association with time and owls. I always take it as like, because I was a big fan of Clash of the Titans and Bobo, the clockwork owl, I always just have that association in my head. But there's a lot of like clocks go with like time stuff. I don't know why. It's not a mythology I know, but owls, they are time travel-y, or they are night-timey, and there's time involved.
Just time.
It's time.
Homura cannot kill herself. It won't let her. She keeps going back to her gem. And this is where Kyubey pipes up.
Yeah, and you finally go, right, you little you weren't a cute cat at all. You're still Kyubey.
You're still Kyubey. Like, this poor girl has reached the lowest of lows. She wants to kill herself to make it all go away. And Kyubey's like, well, hold my drink. Let's talk about it.
It's exposition Kyubey time. And here's some knowledge bombs. Oh, you little that just turns up to tell what's going on.
It is. It's like it's the Kyubey monologue, isn't it? There always seems to be. If you want to know what's happening, enter the Kyubey monologue because he knows everything.
And it's always far worse than what you thought it was going to be.
Exactly. But basically, he explains that what is happening is that they've, in the real world, I mean, this is kind of Homura's fault because Kyubey in this timeline doesn't know about witches because they don't exist because Madoka is getting rid of them. However, as we've seen from the end of the film or the series, Homura tells Kyubey all the stuff that had happened before. So, of course, Kyubey's little genius mind is going, oh, then that means that there's an even better energy source than what we have in this world. Who could still turn into a witch? Homura can turn into a witch. Let's get her. So they get Homura, put her into like a state of a coma where she's just about to turn into a witch, freeze everything so that she's forever trapped mid-witch transformation.
Yep.
Poor girl. So
she's living in her own labyrinth.
Yeah, and like labyrinth is made of despair and sadness and all the pain that you are suffering. And so she's just going to live in this world forever.
Yeah, Kyubeys, or incubators as the species, are dicks. Absolute dicks. And they get even more dickish as this movie goes on. But I'm like, oh, that's a horrible thing to do to Homura. So she could never be reunited with Madoka because she has been segregated out in her own little egg, they call it. Yeah. And so she is trapped in this place that Madoka can't get to her. So she can't do the final cycle of, what's it called? Cycle of truth? The cycle of
karma.
Yeah.
Something like that.
The cycle, like that. Yeah, where magical girls just disappear.
But it's not just that. Kyubey says he's done all this to get Madoka. So that when Madoka comes to try and save Homura, that's when they'll get her. And it's like, no, don't use Homura to get Madoka, because that's the whole point of Homura. And that she's there to save her. Yeah. She can't be the trap. Like,
oh no, it just gets layers and layers of just more traumatic and more upsetting. And then you just think about like the fact that, and they were just like, oh, and because Kyubey's just talking about how this is a science experiment as well. And it's just like, oh, and we didn't know about how the law of cycle worked, so we thought we'd investigate by using you and see what this other being is, because no one knows what this Madoka is. Madoka is, because he doesn't remember Madoka. So it's like, I want to find this being, and then we can experiment on that.
Well, they said that the reason why they want her is to control her so that witches can exist again, because clearly they're a better source of energy than whatever's going on in this universe. Yeah, Homura should never have told Kyubey. That's the end of it. Yes. She made the mistake. Stupid. Don't tell the evil genius incubator thing that's trying to find energy for the world, hey, this was a source of energy that you used before, but you can't have it anymore. Yeah. Yes, they can. Yeah. Yes, they can.
She made the wrong assumption that the Kyubey of her world, because she says, like, we used to have a much different relationship. So she made the assumption this Kyubey was different and that having that knowledge wouldn't change it. And it's like, no, incubators are still dicks.
They have no emotion. They don't know anything about loyalty and compassion and all this kind of stuff. They just hear an idea, go, oh, that's a good idea. Let's do that. Let's not worry about the consequences of what would happen. You know, it's all fact to them. It's all factual and, stupid girl. And then we go into the process of Homura becoming a witch.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Like, it's like she becomes a slave to her despair. That's basically the symbolism that they're showing. And she's being led to the
guillotine.
To the guillotine. And it's like, this is horrific. And then she's like, because they do this weird thing where she's like this bony witch and they cut off like her head in a weird angle. So it's like just the bottom of her mouth and everything. And then Kyoko sat there having lunch with a half decapitated Homura. And it's like, this is also traumatic and disturbing.
And the red spider lilies. That flower is a red spider lily. It's one of my favourite flowers. It blooms in graveyards, and in Japan it's always been kind of a symbol of flowers but also a symbol of childhood, and sometimes it would be by the banks of rivers where people had drowned and stuff. So it's when you see it, it's an association with death and the afterlife.
Well, it's very apt.
Yes. I was like, when it started popping up, I'm like, I love a red spider lily.
The battle is stunning.
Oh.
The battle of the girls now trying to help Homura. I like it more than the Mami battle. It was just all their own individual skills and stuff being used, and yeah, it was nice that they were all working together once again. And it's like Homura has helped all of them, and now they're all helping her.
Yeah.
And the little moment between Kyoko and Sayaka, that was lovely.
Oh, see, I'm a big Kyoko and Sayaka shipper. I wanted them to be together, and I know that it's Madoka and Homura is the A game, but I was like, no, those two have chemistry. I want them to be together, and to see them interlace fingers, and it's like my only regret was leaving you behind. I was like, validated. My beautiful little lesbians love each other, and it's always meant to be there. But I mean, I love the fact that this labyrinth is made up with the memories and the personalities from the real world, and because of the way everything was remade, apart from Sayaka, Kyoko and Mame are still alive, but Sayaka's memory lives on. And also the fact that I like the idea that the witches regretted obviously being witches and were given a chance to live as humans again. So Sayaka is halfway between her form as a witch and her form as a magical girl, and able to kind of combine that. Same like Bebe can be her magical girl, and she regrets killing Mami, so she sticks around to try and help Mami now. It's that's it's lovely because all those things have just all come together. And then they're like, no, we're going to go and we're going to save Homura, because she's literally cursing herself into despair, thinking she deserves it, but also thinking that's the only way to save Madoka.
But they do save Homura in the end, kind of. They get back to the real world, basically. They break through. Madoka and Homura break through the
rainbow.
The labyrinth. And they're back in the real world, and Homura is lying there, and Mami puts her soul gem on her, and it's just Kyoko and Mami left, because that's what it would have been in the alternative universe that we were left with in the series. So
I was really upset. I was like, no, Sayaka and Kyoko finally found each other again. No, Sayaka's still dead.
But because Homura is on the edge of becoming a witch, that then gives Madoka reason to come and get Homura. And it's a really lovely, beautiful ending of Madoka coming down and saying,
Goddess
finally,
form.
I can come get you. And it's like, oh, what a lovely ending. No, not an ending. In fact, it's the start of something else, which is the demise of Homura.
Oh, and the fact it's a willing demise.
Yeah, she wants to be this thing, but in true Madoka style, it is a false ending. We think it's going to be one thing and it's not, and Homura becomes something far worse than a witch. She says, well, I suppose you could call me a demon.
Yeah,
which is basically the opposite
becomes
of Madoka.
The devil.
It's a very big what the F moment.
Yes. I mean, you totally see it, because I love the whole dialogue and the whole idea that there is, beyond grief and beyond sadness, there is a human emotion so powerful that it can transform everything, and that the incubators just cannot grasp the concept of it. And Kyubey is like, what the fudge is this all-powerful emotion? And she's like, it's love. But the problem is, when love gets so all-consuming, it turns to obsession, and therefore it can also be a darkness. And her love for Madoka turns into obsession for Madoka, and her obsession for Madoka to not die and live out her life as a normal human girl. She curses herself, and she curses herself so deeply that she is willing to play the devil to Madoka's goddess to save Madoka. And in the grand scheme of things, it's a different system and a remaking of the world that works, because she essentially does save the magical girls in the human race, because she becomes the one evil in the world that negates the need for wraiths, nightmares, witches. She also becomes so mentally unhinged, she freaks Kyubey out, and Kyubey's like, human emotion is too up for me. Human emotion is just like so uncontrollable. We didn't know it could twist like this. We are not going to bother humans anymore. We're going to go somewhere else. So she does save the world, and she allows Madoka to reform and become a girl again, but she becomes the devil to do it.
You say that Kyubey leaves him alone, but we'll get to that. After all this has happened and we're reeling from this new information that we're getting of Homura being the evil of the world, we then get another switcheroo and we go back to the first day of school, but instead of Homura's first day is now Madoka's first day. And she'd been in America for 3 years and weird. Is this still the labyrinth? Is this just a rewriting of history?
This is the same, like how Madoka rewrote the universe for the new law. Homura has now, because Kyubey says it, has now rewritten her universe.
Well, it's just that there's still the little weird doll things that were in the labyrinth still running around. So what is this? Is this reality? Is this a bit of labyrinth, bit of reality? Like, we don't know.
It's a kind of like, I think Homura's created her own reality. So Madoka reshaped the entire universe, past, present, future, alternate. Homura has created a pocket. It's very Evangelion. But she succeeded over the likes of Gendo, Shinji, and the board. Because Sayaka says, you've taken some of it. And she says, I've only taken a bit of it. But she's kind of created her own world where she can play the villain and Madoka can have a normal life. But there's reflections of the old system and stuff still running around, which is why she says she still needs Kyubey. That's such a kind of creep where she picks Kyubey up and she's poking him with a finger going, no, you don't get to run away, you're staying with me. So she still needs Kyubey to make magical girls to get rid of all the weird things running around. But once they're all gotten rid of, they're just gone. And Kyubey's not going to get any incubator energy out of this. He's basically been segregated from his race.
In this scene, Madoka actually starts to remember who she was, but Homura stops her from doing that. So she's trying to keep things as they are. And life goes on, and that's the end of that. We're left with Homura as the devil, and Madoka is normal again, and
it's Homura's happy ending, and in the grand scheme of things, but at the same time, it's the most tragic thing. And also, for a second, I felt bad for Kyubey because Jesus Christ, he looks traumatized.
Well, that's the thing. At the end of this, there is another bonus scene, and it's Homura sat looking at the world and everything, and then we see Kyubey appear and he's bounding around, but then all of a sudden he's on the ground and she kind of falls off a cliff, like, you know, just dramatically. I doubt she's dead because she's a devil.
Oh no, yeah, she's off to fly around being evil.
But then you're left with a little scrunched up Kyubey who is clearly suffering.
Yeah.
He's not dead because he's shaking.
Yeah.
At the end of the film, because it doesn't go to black or anything, so my film stopped with the image of Kyubey's little face and his eye like all watery and stuff. I'm like, turn it off.
I know. I was like, oh, I mean, it's like, you can have the narrative that Kyubey's not evil. I mean, I've been calling him an evil dick the whole way through it, but no, he's trying to save the universe and they don't have any emotions.
This is what we were trying to discuss the whole way through. It's like, what Kyubey believes what he is doing is the best thing, and that's most villains, isn't it? They always believe that what they are doing is the best thing.
Yes.
Whether people are suffering or not, what they are doing is right. That's why they are doing it.
Yeah.
And that's just Kyubey. The only thing about Kyubey is that he has no emotions, and that's not his fault. It's the way he is. That's his race. But we consider it evil because that's the trait of a psychopath.
Yeah.
Of to have no emotion and to not understand compassion and loyalty and all these things that we grow up knowing. So that's why we consider him evil, but he isn't really. He's just doing what he thinks is right to save the universe.
Yeah.
You know, and if that means some girls have to turn into witches and be turned into energy, then so be it.
Yes, and damn the human race, because obviously he's like, oh, the planet will be destroyed in 10 days.
So
it's like, how, I know, at the end, it was just such a, I don't know, I was just like, just to see him so, just shaking and the fur and the eyes twinkling, and it's like, wow, you are being abused, you are being just not treated well. And to know that Homura has willingly become this to use Kyubey. And I know Kyubey used all them, but just so that it's for her personal desire to keep Madoka. So even Madoka would not be happy with this ending, because Madoka wanted to sacrifice herself to give everyone hope. Homura does not want everyone to have hope. She wants Madoka to live.
This whole thing is a series of misdirects and something posing as something else. And something that I got by the end of all of this was that it's called Madoka, but it's not a story about Madoka. It is Homura's story. Throughout the whole thing, we are tricked into thinking that this is a series about this girl who wants to become a magical girl, but can't because certain things are stopping her, etc. But it is Homura's story.
Yeah.
It's all about her. So that's just another thing that this whole thing was tricking us into believing. And I would categorize this as a twisted love story.
Yeah.
Because that's what it is.
It is. It's, it's definitely a love story. And what it is interesting and slightly more frequent, you find it in anime than Western things, is when there's characters in love and there comes up the question of sacrificing for the greater good. Most stories are like, yes, we're in love, but we must sacrifice ourselves and humanity. This is a story about someone who tried to do that, and then the girl who loved her going, no, our love and my love for you is more important than the universe.
Yeah, and then she becomes evil, and all the things that she worked towards was for naught.
No, but the thing is, at the same time, the ending of this world is the fact that she did accomplish stopping the incubators. The incubators are now like, we are not touching humanity. So humanity's safe. The incubators can go and bother some other alien race to manipulate into a power source. But
the saddest thing about that is because they don't have any emotions or anything, they have no reason to go and save Kyubey. They will just carry on and do something else because they haven't got loyalty.
I know a buttload of them died. So I'm not sure how many incubators are left after Homura's mass murder of hundreds of them.
But did they die? Because again, it was that kind of weird thing of symbolism versus reality. It's like, were they all there, or was it just showing that how many times Kyubey comes back, she's going to kill him?
Yeah, were they millions of Kyubey clones, or was it the incubator race?
Yeah,
in general,
exactly. It gets to a point where it gets very confusing. You just have to take it for what you're seeing.
Yes, it's there for you to read what you want in it. Yeah,
absolutely. But yes, I would definitely advise people watching this film. It is so well done, and it's a laugh a minute.
Yeah, it really does. Woo!
Oh, yeah. Do not watch this if you're looking for something cheerful and happy. If you're looking for something dramatic and beautiful, do it. It's amazing. But should
have known better than thinking I was going to get a happy ending.
No. But like we've said, it seems like it doesn't seem like the end. If it is the end, grim. But if it's not the end, then I definitely feel like something needs to happen. But then this whole thing, it's tricking you. So whereas most magical girls have happy endings, this might be the ending. No one is happy apart from Homura.
Yes.
So,
and it's basically given us the Neon Genesis, the end of Evangelion, in which waking up in a new world, the first thing Shinji does is strangle Asuka. This is we're in a new world. The first thing I'm going to do is be the devil and become the enemy of the girl I'm in love with.
Exactly. So go watch it, please. It's very good. If you have watched it and you're listening to our ramblings, then tell us what you think. Tell us if you agree. Tell us if you disagree. Tell us if you have a whole other theory of things that we've said, because we love reading comments. Okay, so my question for this week.
Oh, God.
What would be your magical girl theme song? And you can choose either something yourself, or you can choose a piece of music from a game or from a TV series, or just a random piece of music. But what song resonates with you as a person?
Oh, goodness. Well, that's a hard one.
It is. And because it's the last episode, it has to be a hard one.
Oh, I mean, there are a couple of pieces of music that I just find, I think... but it make it sound really traumatic. But I love... the Requiem for a Dream, I'm not going to hum it because I can't sing, but that da-da-da-da-da, they use it for the Two Towers trailer as well. It's an absolutely outstanding piece of music. But if I wanted to be more positive, I want Rimwa Jawadi's Pacific Rim. Da 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 da.
Epic.
Yeah, but yeah, so it's one of those two, either the da 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 or the da 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 da, and I'm hoping that comes across differently because I'm tone deaf and therefore can't sing or make musical notes sound like I'm singing different things. I've been told that everything sounds the same when I try and hum it.
No, that was wonderful. Mine would either be something from Zelda, because I love all the Zelda music, possibly the Song of Storms. I love the Song of Storms. It's because it's water, so water-based stuff. I love all that. I'm just imagining. Now, I wouldn't pick this, but just imagining if your theme song was Jurassic Park.
As much as I love John Williams has far too much like movie association that they'll be like, a dinosaur's coming? No, Harry Potter is coming. No, Indiana Jones is coming. Like, Star Wars is coming. It's like, so I'm much more a Hans Zimmer or a Howard Shore girl, or Rimon Djawadi.
Yeah, no, I think mine would definitely be Song of Storms. It's no, the other piece of music that I love is from the film Casper, and it's the piano music, and like they play it quite a bit, but the main bit is when he becomes a real boy and they're dancing on the floor, and it's like do 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 do. It's like, so that's my sad music. That's
so you have
music, and then my epic music, and then my happy music will be because it's just such a good song. It just repeats over and over. I never get bored. There you go. Okay. Not credits. Social media.
I haven't thought about it because I was too busy being like completely enamored by this. I don't know. I'm just
something not too epic because I'm really
No, I've got one. My social media is coming on. I say the word epic, but big epic black wings.
Are you? Is it you with the wings or just wings like disbodied wings?
I mean, it could be me on the wings, but I want big, epic, magical girl realness. But I've been watching too much Pose and Drag Race. But yeah, I want some magical girl realness with big wings.
So it's like,
yeah,
and they flap.
Yeah.
There's your social media.
There we go.
Mine is going to be the universe. Just the vastness of the universe that goes on forever and ever. And now we can all just sit for a moment and think of how the universe is.
These are the voyages of the Starship Enterprise. A 5-year mission to seek out new life and new civilizations. To boldly go.
You've ruined it.
Where no man has gone before.
That is not my theme song.
Well, you started going the universe in that tone, and I just had the bing. Sorry, I hijacked it with Star Trek.
God damn you.
In the middle of that, just put like my face on the Enterprise. Original face. Original Enterprise, just going.
It's my credits, not your credits.
I want to sneak past on the USS Enterprise.
No sneaking. You can be an alien.
No, the Enterprise.
No. Say goodbye, Lizzie.
Bye.
No, that's not how you say goodbye.
Oh no. My brain melted. I want to watch Star Trek.
Before we do say goodbye, we are doing a new series next. I don't know what it is. I think Lizzie does know what it is.
Of course I know.
I've never done this before, but hit that bell so you can find out what's next. Yay!
Oh, look at us like real YouTubers.
I know, I'm a real YouTuber. So yeah, find out what our next series is. Don't miss it. Hit that bell, hit those likes. I feel so cheap.
That's all right. Someone's got to do it.
True.
Right.
Okay, say goodbye properly, Lizzie.
Okay. Well, from a weeaboo, I'm saying Johnny.
And from a newbie, it's the universe is vast. Beep, 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 beep.